If you have built something in V0 but weren't sure how to connect a database, then this video is for you. So in this video, I'm going to take you through a step-by-step guide of how to connect a Supabase project to your V0 project and seeing how this database really works. So let's get started. By the way, if you have already used Supabase before, then this video is not for you. Feel free to skip this video altogether. Now, earlier I had made a video on how to use V0 for creating your first vibe-coded project. If you have not seen that video and you're absolutely beginner to vibe coding, I would recommend you to see that video first before jumping into this one. So in this video, I'm making an assumption that you have actually created a project but weren't sure how to create a database or how to use database for your vibe coded project. Few months back, I created a personal project using V0, and that was the time I realized I needed to connect a database to this project. When I wanted to connect the database for the first time with my project, I realized that it was quite intimidating at first, and that's something I want to share because I'm not a software engineer, I'm just a product manager. And I'm also figuring out with AI on how to use these connections and how to actually make my project work. Now, I want to explain what this database really is and explain the concept to you in detail. If you already know how database works, feel free to skip this chapter and go on to the next one. Now, the best way to explain this concept of database and how this really works is imagining a spreadsheet. Now, as you can see on the screen, this is an example from an online food delivery app. As soon as you place an order, order details get created. So in the backend in your database, the data could be stored something like this. So you may have something called as order ID. It could be a number, it could be a string, it can be any value in that case. And you will have user details, so who has placed the order. You will also need restaurant details, so restaurant's name, restaurant's address. You will probably also have the food items that you have ordered, and there might be information about the delivery partner and the delivery time required for it. As soon as you place the order, your delivery partner details are not immediately known to you, and still you have to have an entry in the database. When an order is placed for the first time, it is created and added to database, and when a delivery partner is added after some time, the same row of information is updated with the delivery partner's details. Now, this is the simplest way of understanding how a database works. Now, I have to say at this point that this is absolutely beginner level knowledge because databases nowadays are not as simple as this spreadsheet, and they have become much more complex. Now, in vibe coding tools, you will observe two things. One is either you will get an inbuilt database or you will have to connect to an external database. In this example is Supabase. But nowadays, there are some new tools coming to the market or have already launched in the market with inbuilt database. So they have their own database that you don't have to really connect with anything. And as soon as you say, I want to store this data, they store it in their own custom database. Now, depending on the tool, you may be required to use either the inbuilt database or connect to an external database. So that's what we're talking about today, connecting to an external database and how to do that for an absolute beginner. Now here I am on the landing page of V0. I have already logged in and created an account before this. So if you're absolute beginner in that case, go ahead and check out my other video where I have given a step-by-step guide on how to create an account, and I've literally done it from scratch. But in this video, I'm not going to go in those details. I'm just going to assume that you know how to use these tools at the basic level, bare minimum. By the way, when I say vibe coding, I actually mean vibe prototyping. I am actually not a programmer, so I don't want to claim that at all. But this term has become so popular that no matter what you do, it's just vibe coding. So let's go ahead and enter a prompt, and I'm going to enter a simple prompt. The prompt is about an inventory management tool. This is a good example of how to use a database for something like an inventory management tool. And what I want to do is there are a few features here. I want to add new inventory, I want to modify an existing inventory, and I want to delete it. And I should be able to upload 3 images for each product, and the inventory data should be stored in a database and should persist. Now, this is very important when you start prompting, that data persistence is told in the prompt itself. Now, the V0 tool is going to understand that, all right, I have to make sure that this data is persisting. I've also mentioned that I should be able to log into the account and see all the inventory. So that is my basic prompt. I'm going to click on enter and let's see what happens. All right, so V0 has gone into the building mode. I can see this is my chat, and here it is thinking and it is working in the background. And at the moment, it's probably going to ask me some questions. So it is telling me that I will help you build a full stack inventory management tool for mobile phones with authentication, CRUD operations, and image uploads. Let me talk about CRUD operations for a while if you do not know what CRUD operations mean. It simply means create, read, update, and delete. Creating something in the database, updating something in the database, reading something from the database, and deleting from the database. So that is the abbreviation for CRUD. These are the basic operations that you do in a database. All right, so V0 is saying, let me first check the integrations needed for database storage and file uploads. Supabase is for database storage and Blob is for file uploads. At the moment, we can skip the file uploads part and will only concentrate on Supabase. So let's go ahead and click on install. That is what it is suggesting to do. Now, if you skip that, it will actually build something. It will show you the UI. It will show you a working prototype already, but it will not have persistent database storage or database will not be connected. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this install. Now I'm taken to a completely different page and here it is saying create new Supabase account. It has identified that my account is not there on Supabase yet. I'm using a fresh ID and I do not have a Supabase account with this ID, and by ID I mean the email address. And so it's telling that installing into Maria Martin's projects, set up your Supabase account. Now this is step 1 of connecting your Supabase account. And here you have to accept certain terms and conditions and these are region based. So I will click on accept and create. Okay, so in next step, it's asking me create database. Now here we are about to create the database and there are few things that they have mentioned here. One is primary region. I have kept it selected whatever is default there, so I didn't change that. And they're showing you what the environment variable prefix will be. This is basically for generating a key that will come in later. And they are also telling about the installation plans. Of course, I'm selecting the free plan here and I'll click on continue. Now here it is asking me for the database name. I'm going to keep it as it is. It has suggested something, so let's leave it like that. And these are my selections. I'll click on create. Now remember, this is for the first time you're doing a Supabase creation. You are not yet in Supabase account. This is still happening on vercel.com and you're able to create a database directly from here. And now it is done successfully. So you have database created successfully and this is the name of our project. Now let's click on done here. Now the setup is complete. We are back to V0 here in the main chat and here it is suggesting that continue building. So let me click on continue building and it's saying great, I have connected Supabase. So that's basically your connection with Supabase. But I want to also show you how it works once you have connected. How does the data actually reflect and where can you see all these database projects that you have? Now at the bottom, you can also see that it is doing some of the tasks here. First, it is doing a setup of database schema and Supabase auth. Then it is going to create some blob storage for images. Remember, we did not do any blob installation, so I don't think that will happen. And it is doing the authentication pages. This is for the user login. And it is going to then build the dashboard and the UI that we are going to see. Notice how the UI has changed from our main chat to now a preview window. Now in this preview window, you're going to see the UI. Basically, whatever app we have asked to build, it will show the UI for that in here. Now at this point, it is telling me that I have all the context I need. Let me start building the inventory management system. First, I will create the database schema and Supabase setup files. Now let me execute the database migration and then continue building the app. So you can go ahead and click on accept. Now remember, we are not doing anything sensitive here. There is no critical data or information. So for you to explore, it's okay to accept what that AI is telling you. But when you're about to do some production level apps, be very careful that you understand these concepts. Basically, whatever I'm accepting here, I should be able to understand, for which you will need the knowledge of programming. And this is mainly for prototyping. So the use case here is limited to show a prototype where you still want the data to persist and you still need to have a database connection, but you're not necessarily looking to actually release the app in production. All right, seems like it has completed its task. So in the chat, you can see here that it's telling all the tasks are completed, authentication is done, inventory management is done, and there is some configuration that we are required to do because we mentioned the images. They're asking us to configure the image, which we can skip for now and let it remain as it is, and you can just let it be here. Now, this is the UI that we are seeing, and let's log into this UI and see how the dashboard looks like. I'll do the sign up first and I will enter my credentials here, create my password. Now imagine this is mimicking an employee at this inventory management tool, and that is why you will have to do this. And I will get a confirmation link. So let me go and check if I got a link or not and verify this account. So I added my credentials. This is my email and my password. I completed the verification, and so hopefully I should be signing in now. All right, so I'm logged in. I can see this dashboard. This is the dashboard we were looking for. Currently, remember, there are no inventory items here. As you can see, it is all blank. So let's go ahead and add our phone here, and hopefully this will work. So let's see iPhone. So it seems like we have to do the setup for Blob. So I'm just going to tell that remove this file upload feature altogether because this is causing an issue in our product right now. All right, so we have removed the file upload feature altogether, and let me just refresh the preview here, and let's try and log in once more and see if we can add a product to the inventory. All right, so let's try one more time, and I'm going to update an inventory here. Now, since I was encountering an error, I sent a message to V0, and I'm saying that when adding a product, I'm seeing an error. So something went wrong, so I'm not able to add a phone. So let's see how V0 fixes this, because I'm not able to add a phone here right now. Now at this point, V0 is telling me that it is checking the Supabase schema, and it shows that error is related to Vercel blob, which we removed, but it seems there might be still some leftover code. Now basically this is related to the file upload feature. Now at this point, it is recommending me that they have fixed the phones table because they had some extra information in there, and I'm going to accept that, and it will probably make the tables correct and accurate. So hopefully this time it works. All right, so we have added our first product here, which is Apple iPhone. At this point, we want to verify two things. One, that this product is created in Supabase, and secondly, our Supabase accounts actually exist or not. So where can you find that? Now that we have got this database here, we can see that in the connect section, here you will see all the applications that you would externally connect to. And one of the applications is Supabase. If you click on manage here, now here you will get more information. It says that we have an instance name or the project name, which is Supabase Science Zebra. And then we have a category called as database, and then we can go ahead and configure in Supabase. Now, Supabase is a product in itself. Now, this is one page where you can see your own project. The status is showing as available, and it is also telling you what kind of plan you are on. But you can also open this in Supabase. Now, this is Supabase dashboard. Now, here you can see multiple things, but you are redirected to your project, which is Supabase Science Zebra. And here you can see some tables that we have. Now, if you click on these tables, you will notice that we have some existing table called as phones. That's what we have been adding. This is where you will get to see the entry. I have zoomed in a little bit. This is the ID of that particular row entry. And this exactly looks like the spreadsheet that I showed you earlier, where we have got the brand as one parameter here, which is one column. That is Apple, iPhone, and then we have storage. Now, there are two ways to approach this Supabase if you want to ever modify anything. So let's say instead of Apple, we call this as Samsung. We will have this change done here. So I made a change here in the database, and I changed the name of brand from Apple to Samsung. I want to see if this reflects in our project or not. So let me dismiss this and let me refresh this page here. And as you can see, whatever entry changes you made, whatever updates you made to your database directly will reflect here as Samsung iPhone. So you are able to update, you remember the CRUD. So the update part is something that we did. But this is the reverse update. We updated a database, which generally we don't want to do. But if we want to change the data from here, so let's say instead of saying Samsung iPhone, I would like to say Samsung Galaxy, and I will click on update. Now this should make an update in my Supabase database as well. Now let me refresh the page here. And there you go. You have Samsung Galaxy. What this actually tells you is whatever you have created as an application now, this data is stored against my user account, which is productmanagermaria@gmail.com. And no matter how many inventory items you add, it will be added in the database of Supabase here. This connection is easy to manage from V0 itself. If you want to add any more tables to this, any more data points to this, you can simply add a follow-up prompt and have it done. Now let's also quickly publish this app and see this app live. Our app is ready, it is published. Let's click on it, and when I go to this website, let me go ahead and sign in. Now this is actually a live app, so once you sign in, you should be able to see your inventory. And there we go. So we have this Samsung Galaxy. Remember, this is the same Samsung Galaxy that is there in our Supabase table here. Let's add another phone to this one. And let's say I want to add an Apple iPhone now. Let's add the phone. Done. We have an Apple iPhone 16 and we have Samsung Galaxy. There are two entries in this inventory. These two entries should reflect in our Supabase database. So I'm going to refresh this page. And now you can clearly see these two entries. Now, this is where the database becomes more persistent. In the sense, if I log out, log in and refresh the page, reload the page, this all will work. So if I refresh this page, I'm not going to lose my data because this data is now stored in a database somewhere else. So every time this page is reloading, it is referring to Supabase database, and then it will come here and show me the data. Now, Supabase is not just about a single table. It's actually a very complex product meant for complex workflows in your applications. But this is a good way to get introduced to understanding these concepts of how database really works. I hope this video was helpful to you in some or the other way. At least you can connect a database to your project. And if you notice, V0 actually guides you through that process. This space is constantly evolving, and I talk about this on LinkedIn and Twitter. So make sure you follow me there. That's all for this video. Thanks for watching.